Have you ever been humiliated in front of a girl that you liked? Have you ever been embarrassed in front of a girl that was very attractive or in front of a group of girls and the people that were embarrassing you were just your friends moments ago, or you guys were just laughing or having a good time moments ago, but the instant a female comes into the picture, everybody switches up, and that's why I don't really like friend groups that much, because being humiliated in front of a female is one of those feelings that sticks with you forever. You'll never forget that pain, and you're probably going to turn into a hikikomori. You're probably going to turn into a neat, or you're probably going to be a hermit. You're probably going to be a very lonely guy, especially if that happens to you repeatedly. Like, a lot of us, we get embarrassed by females in multiple ways. You could be at the grocery store and you could be with your mom or something like that, and she may say something embarrassing, like it could be a cute girl passing by in her cart, like she's walking her cart getting some items or whatever, and you're like, damn, she's kind of pretty. And then your mom says something embarrassing, and right in front of that girl, she looks at you and snickers, like, dang, that guy's a grown man, he still gets talked to like that, and it's like, damn. And then your confidence lowers, or maybe you're at some type of social event and your brother says something personal about you in front of girls, and it kind of just it just humiliates you, it just demasculates you as well. And these situations, they happen a lot to a lot of us. Like, a lot of us, we've been teased by females, embarrassed in front of females, we've been humiliated, we've been in situations in which we felt powerless, where people were talking about us to our face, like they were in a roundabout way or sometimes directly. And we've been in social situations and social settings where we didn't have no power at all. And it's brutal. You see, in this world, it's going to find different types of ways to berate you and to destroy you. This world is going to find different types of ways to make sure you feel some type of pain and agony, not just one way. But there's something different when you get humiliated by the girl that you had a crush on. Like, either you tried to give her something for Valentine's Day, she pretty much just threw the stuff away, or laughed at you, or rejected you. Or if something bad, or if somebody does a prank on you in class, or if you're walking or something, and it's raining and you trip and fall, right in front of her and her friends, and they start laughing at you. They're not laughing with you, they're laughing at you. That's a big difference, right? But getting embarrassed in front of females, man, it's just one of those things that it can break friendships up. Because, when you get talked about, let's say, you're in a group of guys and you guys are just, talking crap, shooting the shit with each other or whatever. That's one thing, right? It's everybody's cracking jokes, okay? But it's another thing when a female comes into the picture, and then all of a sudden everybody wants to target you and wants to make you the laughing stock, so they can feel good just in front of the female that none of them are going to engage in sexual alleviation with, unless they're Chad. And I know a lot of us been through, I know a lot of us have brutal stories of being humiliated in front of females, of, just feeling shameful. Like, if you ever go to any of these, any places out there, and you run into a beautiful girl and you see her, and then you kind of like, damn, she's beautiful, I want her. But then you look at your life and you're like, damn, there's no way I can support her. I can't even support myself, And then you look at how you see the world, you see the world for what it is, and you understand the nature of modern women, and you understand the nature of people, and how evil and wicked humans are, and these evil beings and these archons, how they control this evil hell realm. And you just look at the world and you're just like, The world offers a multitude and a myriad of different types of ways to sap your energy and to sap your strength and to make you feel weak and to make you feel small. When you're somebody like this in this position, man, it's very difficult to try to stay strong mentally because every day is a battle. You know, like even right now, I'm coming up with a cold, you know, out of nowhere, just a demiurge. But a lot of us, man, like when we go places and we see beautiful girls, or when you see a cute girl, a lot of us, bro, we kind of want to vacate the area as fast as possible. We only want to make eye contact because it hurts. When I see a beautiful girl, bro, it hurts. It brings back so many bad memories of being humiliated, being laughed at, being teased, being forced to feel small and forced to feel isolated and, just ostracized from the group. It's just like you go through a lot of crap as a guy in this position, man, honestly. And people wonder why you're not social. You're not social because every time you try to be social, there's always some negative ramifications involved with trying to be social. So you kind of just back off and you kind of just want to do your own thing. You kind of just want to build your own life away from the toxic people and the toxic negativity. But unfortunately, that's a luxury that's only reserved for the rich. People who can control their time and they can do whatever they want. They tell you have free will, but you have to go to your but you have to go to work every day, but you got free will. What's free will? Somebody's holding a projectile to the back of your neck, right? It's not free will, because free will should be you do whatever you want and there's no negative consequences, right? And what I mean by that, in a perfect world, I don't mean in a fallen world like this. There's always going to be negative consequences, even if you do good. In a wicked world like this is a hell realm. But in a perfect world, in a perfect reality, like there wouldn't even exist evil. So like whatever you could do, it could never be evil because evil and wickedness just doesn't exist. So you can never do no evil, no evil things. There's no low vibrational frequencies like jealousy because everybody has enough. Everybody has a lot, but in this world, it's like a scarcity thing. It's why a lot of us, when we see somebody with like a cute girl or whatever, you may feel jealous because you want that cute girl in your life. Because you feel like if you had her in your life, you'll feel more happy and more confident, and you'll fulfill that giant hole that's inside of your heart. It's like a portal, a portal of darkness, and it can never be healed. And the only thing that can really heal it is having a good girl in your life. But a lot of us had so many negative experiences or no experiences with females. We've been laughed at, humiliated in front of females. We've been embarrassed. We've been in like weird situations that made us feel just less than confident. And yes, we're weird, we're odd, we're strange. We're the type of people that you know, people would not want to stay away from, unfortunately. But it's good for me because I like being by myself anyway, and I don't really like interacting with people anyway because people are demons and people are evil and people are wicked and people are always plotting something evil and wicked, and I don't want to be involved with that. I just want to mind my business and stay as far away from any foolishness, any type of craziness. But I was watching this documentary, right? And it was about like how they used to use like children to work in these factories. And at one time that was just a normal type of thing. And these children, they were getting wounded from these factories, like these big old, like I'm talking about like factories where like grown men should be working at. Like these are like real factories where like the machine, like there was like no protected, there was like no protection, no I think it's called PPE, personal protective equipment or something like that. if I remember from that old OSHA class or whatever. I think that's what it's called. But yeah, so these were back in the days where there was no safety measures, there was no safety rules, there was none of that. And they had these kids pretty much working in these factories, and there was decapitations, there was limb amputations, there was all types of things going on, and a lot of the times it was just these situations where instead of these kids going to school, they had to work at these factories. And this was normal until like rules and regulations came to be. So when people talk about civilization and how civilized, people are, don't forget it wasn't that long ago, you know, like 100 years in the past, there was a lot of evil going on. There was world wars, there was all that. And 100 years from the future from now, there's going to be all types of wars as well. So you see how there's a pattern of wickedness? Do you notice that? Do you notice how there's like a continuation of evil? It doesn't matter the time, doesn't matter the century. There was a time when the Roman Empire, they took over the whole earth. The Roman Empire pretty much expanded. So many different countries and peoples and ethnicities were all under the Roman Empire, you know? And the Roman Empire ruled. They won a lot of wars. They conquered a lot of territory. They expanded. They had Emperor Trajan's Wall, or was it Hadrian's Wall? I think one of them, Trajan or Hadrian, one of them. But Rome was like pretty powerful. And then eventually the barbarians came to the gate. So there was always something. There's always something like there's always a bigger fish in the sea when it comes to evilness and wickedness and vindictiveness in this world. So even though Rome conquered and did all this evilness and all this loose farming for the demiurge, it still got conquered itself. And then the barbarians came through the gates, as they say. And that's when the Western Empire fell. And then eventually the Eastern Empire fell at a later date, but it still fell. But you see this reoccurring thing throughout this world is that there's pain. There's some type of thing that loves to ignite people fighting and people causing pain and inflicting that on each other. That's one thing you notice in this world, and you notice in your life. You notice that there's things and events that happened in your life that it made you emotionally stagnated. It stagnated you as a person. It slowed your growth and development in all areas of your life. Not having that girl in your life, it really breaks your mind down, and it really breaks you. Because that's something that's fundamental and essential for humans' growth. You need the touch of a woman, man. You need it's the truth. You need this. You need to experience love. You need to experience happiness. These are natural human things that are natural, and we should all experience it. It's bullcrap that you have people out here that have never experienced that, never will experience it, and will always be in this negative position and always feel like they're trapped because essentially because of the job market and the economics and the Strait of Hormuz or whatever you want to call it. There's going to be a fluctuation of prices and a proliferation of pain. And a lot of people are going to lose their minds in this time, man. A lot of people are going to lose it. And here we are, like a lot of us, they say that, oh, we're stuck in the past and that. It's not that we're stuck in the past. It's just that there were so many events and negative events that linked up in our past that made our minds always go back to that negative type of, frequency. Because there's things that you go through in life that it stains you and it follows you around the world. That embarrassment. That girl laughing in your face on Valentine's Day. Your dad, giving you an ass whooping because you got an F in the class. Say you failed math class or something like that, and your dad found your report card, and then he gives you a whooping. And then not only that, he takes away your computer and takes away your Xbox or your PlayStation, and you remember that. Or let's say your friends came over and like that one girl in the group, that you like, that you got a crush on, and your friends come over and it's right in the middle of your dad giving you a whooping. So your friends open the door and they walk in and they see you like kind of screaming, hollering as your dad is whooping you with the belt, and that girl looks, kind of laughs, her face kind of turns red, or she kind of just starts laughing, and then walks back, and then your friends, oh, your friends kind of laugh and get out of there, and now your friends and that girl just see you get a whooping. Things like that stick with you forever. It doesn't matter if those people moved on or she got married and she doesn't even think about you anymore. You think about that, and you remember, right? And you remember that, and these are the things that you think about 2:30, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock in the morning when you're trying to go to sleep. And then you go, you grab some of your Mary Jane to the brain, take a bowl hit, and then you forget about it, watch some anime, and you get into that little world, and then the pain comes back, and you take another bowl hit, and it's just a constant battle. It's like fighting in the trenches of World War One, you know, between the Germans and the British, right? It's crazy. It's crazy how much we have to battle for happiness in this world. Like, isn't that weird? If this world was created by a loving, caring God, then why do we have to fight so hard for happiness? Like, why is it so hard? Why do we have to do so many things to get happiness? And negativity and anger can come within seconds. Like, you can spend weeks, or no, you can spend months, hell, years saving up and working at a job, right? And there's something you really wanted to buy, and you finally buy it. Let's say it's a new TV or something, a flat screen or whatever. You buy it, and Amazon ships it in a way where it's broken, and then you try to get a refund and get it sent back, and then they don't accept it. So now you're out of money, and then you have a broken TV, or let's say it could be a laptop or something like that, and it's just like, damn, there's always something. And then after a while, like when it happens enough times, you start to notice a pattern in all these similarities, and you start to say, this is something that's organized. This is being orchestrated in my life. This is not an accident. How is this an accident when this had to be, you know, customized in a certain way, which will amplify the pain that I feel? And it's specifically designed for me. But in this world, you can try hard to build something. Like, it takes years to build something, in this world, right? It takes years to build cities. Like in World War II, there was a city called Dresden, and it was like a German historical cultural marvel, an astonishment of its time. In this city of Dresden, it was firebombed by the British, I believe, and the United States. And it was absolute chaos. Of course, they had to rebuild the city after World War II, but a lot of that original architecture was lost. So it took like thousands of years for that city to be built. And it took just one random war, well, not a random war, one of the biggest wars in human history, World War II. But it took just within minutes, within hours, that city was reduced to flames. You see what I mean? Like, this world is designed, like, you can go to work every day, and then when Friday comes, you're getting paid. You're so happy you get paid Friday, like, yeah. And then you get your money, and then after all the bills you have to pay, the next day you're angry, and it's just like, damn. It's like you get paid, and then you're broke the same day because you got so much bills to pay. And then they call it responsibilities. It makes me so angry when I hear that word. People say, oh, well, adults got responsibilities. Man, if your responsibilities is just working to pay bills, then that means you're a servant. That's not responsibilities. Responsibilities would be something like actually having like a child to take care of, right? But if you're just like by yourself and all you're doing is going to the 9 to 5 and coming home and that's it, is that really a life? At least the people that have to go and go into the 9 to 5 and they have like kids. At least they're doing it for the kids. They're doing it for a good reason. I'm a big advocate for people taking care of their kids, right? Because I feel like if you bring somebody into this hell realm, the least you can do is try to make their life bearable and prepare them to try to get some type of wealth or business. Because there's too much poverty for guys like us. Like, a lot of us, we come from poverty positions, poverty-stricken positions, and take that with like mental health problems, and you got a recipe for disaster. Like, I'm a schizophrenic, like That's why I'm amazed that I like people even listen to me. You know what I mean? I'm pretty crazy and out of my mind. I hear voices in my head and I see evil spirits. And it's no damn joke. I'm dead serious. and But I see life for what it really is, and this world is just designed to break us. It's designed to lose us, and it like pain is something that's so instant, but joy is something that takes a while, right? Like a lot of us are happy when we get paid or happy when we get money. It's a good feeling because then you can buy things that you want that make you happy. It's not necessarily the money itself, is what the money can buy. They say money can buy happiness, but it can sure as hell buy a comfort position. And if you're homeless like me, it can sure as hell buy a roof over your head, which is why I'll do anything to be a millionaire, right? I'm tired of being broke. I'm tired of being, of having these feelings and these emotions inside when I see beautiful women and I want them and I can't have them. I'm tired of not being able to have a beautiful woman when I see her. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of not being able to find love and peace and happiness and tranquility and live in a nice peaceful land like the Hobbit. You ever see Lord of the Rings, like the beginning, like where the hobbits come from, that the little forest area. I always thought those houses were kind of weird, but they were kind of cool on the inside, right? you know. But like living on that plain where you hear the birds chirping, the stream of the nearby river, blowing a little Mary Jane, you know, being with your beautiful girl, your beautiful woman, your beautiful wife, maybe your children are running around and swinging in the backyard from like a makeshift swing set made for some trees, and it's just you got some type of dog like alien animal barking, and it's just you're living in some fantasy wonderful world. It's like it's crazy that our minds, we have to invent things like that just so we can cope. Meanwhile, existence is just, it offers no type of hope. So many things in this world is designed to slice your soul in half. It seems like it's designed to make you bitter, angry, cold, and make you more socially isolated. You know, it's absolutely devastating that a lot of us have to be in this position where we feel like we don't have any type of power. We feel like the world is against us. We feel lonely. We feel just shamed. We feel ashamed of our lives because we didn't accomplish what we really wanted to accomplish, and a lot of us, we just reverted to hiding in our room. You know, you know, hiding in our rooms. You know, and some people hiding in the basement, hiding in the attic, hiding in the back house. I heard people saying that like their family owns property, and right now they're staying in some type of shed area, but they cleaned the shed out, the shed, and then turns into like a room, so it's actually kind of nice, and like even then they got problems and stuff with their people, and it's like, man, isn't it funny how we're all going through the same similar type of thing? Isn't that suspicious? Doesn't it feel like something is trying to loose us? And then the hell we go through is customized, especially for us. It just seems suspicious to me, man. It just doesn't seem right. Because I look back on my life and I can point to all types of situations that I've been in and I've been through and I survived, and it helped shape me and mold me and inform me. But it doesn't necessarily mean that those things that happened were good. It doesn't necessarily mean that those events that shaped me and formed me were necessary either. Like I could have done without all this pain. I wish I was a millionaire. I wish I had like a rich grandfather, and when he passed away, he left me with some land, something I can build off of, a couple $1 million, something. So like that would help me out right now. Like imagine having a family member who actually owns something or has any type of something to pass down to you, and they pass away, and you're broke in this situation. homeless with nothing. And then the next thing you know, they coming and saying, hey, yeah, sign this, and then you get to have these assets, and yeah, you get to have 2, 3, 4, $7 million, Man, I always dream about being a multi-millionaire. This is what I dream about all day. Shit. I always dream about being a millionaire, man. Imagine getting that much wealth. Imagine what you can do. Imagine that joy you can feel. But you got to be careful, because if you get too joyous, too happy, too swiftly, the demiurge is going to take notice. If the demiurge doesn't like you, he's going to send something after you to try to attack you. Let's say, like, you get the $7 million, the inheritance, and you're so happy. You get the car you want, the home you want. You ball, you feeling yourself. And let's say all of a sudden you meet a girl, and this girl didn't want nothing to do with you before, and until you became a multi-millionaire. And let's say you guys have some adult activities take place. So after these adult activities take place, she just makes up a story saying that some of the things in that event was not consensual, and now you have to face legal litigation, defamation, and possible incarceration. And you don't want to get incarcerated, so to avoid that, you got to pay some millions, and then now you're back to like square one. you know like the demiurge would do something like that to guys like us. So that's why when you get something, make sure you can put it in something that you like. If you guys ever get rich, if any of you listening ever become a millionaire, ever become successful financially, the thing you want to do is try to invest in something. Try, like, if you get millions of dollars or whatever, try to make sure you invest in something that's guaranteed to give you at least, $5,000 to $10,000 to $3,000 a month guaranteed. Invest in something that every single month you just get a check. You just invest it, and whatever, every month they just send you a check. And make sure it's like, like if you ever get a lot of money, make sure it's like $5,000, $10,000 a month, just off of that, just off a passive asset. A passive asset that can appreciate in value, so you don't even have to do nothing. So if you ever go homeless or whatever, you still get $3,000, $5,000 a month. It's almost like a pension or whatever. You still get that a month, and then you can survive. With $5,000 a month, you can at least get you a 1-bedroom apartment with that, right? You can survive off that $5,000 a month. So always try to invest in something like that, man. Don't spend your money and trick off. But I understand you got needs, so you gotta do what you gotta do. I understand, you gotta enjoy yourself, but just don't spend all of it. I hope I can become a billionaire one day. I know it's just fantasy thinking, but I love that power of how it feel. Like just to feel like I finally got control over my life. All those painful events, all that evil that I had to go through, finally I can start healing. Like that's what I feel like, bro. Like I really feel like we can't start healing emotionally or spiritually until we're wealthy, until we're rich. Because how can you really heal when every time you go home, the heal and the cope, you got to go right back to the 9 to 5 the next day. It's like if you got a Skyrim reference. If you took an arrow through the knee, say you take an arrow through the knee, and every time they take the arrow, like every night they remove the arrow, and then in the morning you get another arrow through the knee. So like your wound never heals. Like you keep getting the arrow through the knee, your wound never heals, right? It's a crazy world, man. But there's a reason why people like us isolated ourselves. There's a reason why we kind of just want to be left alone, right? It's because we know how people are, and we know how this world is. We know how wicked and evil and sadistic this cynical, twisted world is, Like, this is not a good world that we find ourselves in. This is truly a hell realm. This is truly a realm that's literally made to break you and destroy you. Like, you can't tell me that this world was created by a loving, caring being. I was just watching a crocodile documentary for, I think it's called A Nile Crocodile. Yeah, they're like some of the biggest crocodiles in the world, and like I'm like, wow, they're just absolutely just dominant. You know, they're like the apex predators. And I'm like, how could why is that on the same plane as existence as we are? Like if anybody was to jump into that water and swim in there, they would never see a monster like that coming. You know, and it's just absolutely brutal, man. It's just this world is just it's an absolute world designed to terrorize your soul.